So today we are going to be doing chapter 5b. I'm only reading 5 pages at a time. There it was. It was so far away. Jody felt a sinking feeling in her stomach. She knew that she couldn't stay where she was and wait to be found. Her family would never see her from that distance. Grimly determined, trying not to think about the difficulty of it, Jody began swimming towards Dolphin Dreamer. Swimming was hard work in the rain and wind, and the waves all seemed determined to push her back. Jody managed to kick her shoes off. They were still new sneakers that she hated to lose, but in the water they were heavy, making it harder to swim. Feet bare, she took a deep breath and plunged in. She kept her head down and swam steadily and fast as if in a grim race. But every time she stopped to get her bearings, Dolphin Dreamer seemed as far away as ever. What was going on? Jody's heart sank as she finally realized the boat had still been moving when she fell overboard. And even with the sails all stowed, it was still likely to drift. As fast as she was swimming toward it, the wind and currents were taking it farther away. It must be moving much faster than she was. She was never going to catch up to it. Jody nearly burst into tears of terror, but she didn't have the energy to spare. She couldn't give up now. She just couldn't. She had to hope that Brittany really had raised the alarm and that her family would be looking for her, though she couldn't see any sign of that from the boat. By now, people should have been hanging over the sides looking for her, calling her name. Jody tried calling to them, "Help! Help!" Her voice sounded terrifyingly small in the vast waters, and when she opened her mouth to call a third help, a wave splashed against her face. She gagged and choked on the salt. The rain was still coming down in sheets, making it hard to breathe or to see. She prayed that the boat might be moving towards her instead of away. They must be looking for her. They must. Maybe she hadn't really been in the water as long as it seemed. Gasping, panting, desperate, Jody forced herself to keep swimming towards the Dolphin Dreamer. No matter how hard it was, she would just have to keep going. She would get there eventually. She was exhausted, but she wouldn't give in. Then Jody saw something which turned her blood to ice. A dark, curving fin cut through the waves and vanished, then appeared again a few yards away. Shark! She tried desperately to think of what to do, but the only advice she could remember, get out of the water, was utterly useless to her now. Sharks were deadly, but unpredictable. If this one wasn't hungry, it might simply swim past her, but if it was hungry, she wouldn't stand a chance. The fin vanished, then appeared again, closer. Jody clutched her silver dolphin on her necklace tightly between thumb and forefinger. If she had ever needed luck in her life, it was now. The fin vanished. Beneath the water, Jody felt something bump against her leg. She gave a yelp. She couldn't help herself. But then, as she felt the gentle pressure against her legs, she realized that what she was feeling wasn't the rough hide of a shark, but the smooth skin of a dolphin. "Apollo!" she breathed. The distinctive head of a bottle-nosed dolphin broke through the surface. It was Apollo. Jody was immediately awed by just how big the dolphin was close up. Her mother had estimated Apollo's length as almost 3 yards, but it was one thing to watch at a distance while her mother swam with Apollo, and quite another to be in the water herself with such a large animal. Jody wasn't scared though. How could she be? This was Apollo. She looked him right in the eye. It was large, round, brown, and shining with unmistakable intelligence. There was something about the dolphin that made Jody feel peaceful. For a moment, she almost forgot the danger she was in. Apollo nudged her hand. Jody was amazed. He had avoided her mother's touch, yet he was inviting her to touch him. He moved to bring the dorsal fin on his back under her fingers. Jody suddenly guessed what was being offered. "You'll tow me back to the boat?" Scaringly daring to believe it. She flung her arm around the dolphin's smooth, streamlined back, hooking her hand around the dorsal fin as a means of hanging on. As soon as Jody was in place, Apollo began swimming, a gentle, powerful motion that pulled her rapidly towards the water. Although Jody realized Apollo was moving slowly by dolphin standards, probably out of concern for her, the sensation of being pulled through the waves by such a gentle yet powerful force was exhilarating. Jody began to grin. After the terror of the last few minutes, the delight she felt now was making her giddy. She knew she was safe now with Apollo. Blinking against the slackening rain, Jody saw Dolphin Dreamer, seeming to grow larger by the second as she drew closer. Everyone was on deck, leaning over the sides, most of them in brilliantly colored rain gear.